Everyone, welcome to business statistics class. So in previous video we have completed the fourth unit, that is probability and expectation. So in today's video we will study the fifth unit, that is time series analysis. So the definition of time series analysis is a series of observations of a phenomena recorded at successive points of time is called time series. It is a chronological arrangement of statistical data regarding the phenomena. So here with this definition we understand that time series is nothing but it is a series of observations that we are recording at a certain period of time. So that time period may be of a month or a year or even a day. So we are recording some statistical data which is a numerical data, and observation made on such series at successive point of time is called as time series. So generally planning of economic and business activities are based on the predictions of production, demand or sale or import or export, etc. So the future can be predicted by a detailed study of the past variations. Thus, the future demand can be predicted by studying the variations in the demand for the last few years. So generally time series are those of production, demand, sales, price, imports, exports, bank rate, value of money, etc. So the following is a time series of price of rice. So here we can see the year is from 1990, 1994, 1998, 2002, 2006 and 2010. So here we have taken successive points, that is after every 4 years the price of rice is noted. So for the year 1990 the price was rupees 550 per quintal, and for 1994 it was 810. So we can see the price of rice is increasing after every 4 years. So these type of data or analysis of such examples come under time series analysis. So usually in a time series equidistant points of times are considered. They may be weekly, monthly, yearly, etc. recordings. So in this example we have recorded according to year, that is the difference is 4 years. So a graphical representation of time series is called histogram. So let us study the components of time series. There are 4 components. The first one is trend. Also it is called as secular trend or long term movement. The second component is seasonal variation. The third component is cyclical variation or business cycle, and the fourth component is irregular variation or random fluctuation or erratic variation. And an analytical study of different components of a time series, the effects of these components, etc. is called as analysis of time series. So now let us study in detail each component of time series. So the first one is trend, or else it is known as secular trend. The trend is the overall change taking place in the time series over a long period of time. So most of the time series show a general tendency to increase, decrease or to remain constant over long period of time. Such an overall change occurring is the trend. So the trend is measured mainly by the method of moving averages and by the method of least squares. So this measurement we will study in the further classes, that is how to calculate trend by using moving averages and by the method of least square. So here in the first component, that is trend. So trend is the overall change that takes place for a long period of time, and most of the data that we collect show a general tendency, that is, they may either consistently increase or decrease, or they may remain constant for a long period of time. So such an overall change is called as trend. So some of the examples of trend are steady increase in the population of India in the past many years is an upward trend. Due to availability of great medical facilities, the death rate is decreasing. Thus, the death rate shows a downward trend. So the next component is seasonal variation. The regular and periodic variation in a time series is called as seasonal variation. So generally the period of seasonal variation would be within 1 year. The factors causing the seasonal variation are: the first factor is weather conditions, and the second factor is customs, tradition and habits of people. And seasonal variation is predictable. Seasonal indices are used for the measurement of seasonal variation. So the second component, that is seasonal variation, is a regular and a periodic variation in a time series. So example for seasonal variation are an increase in the sales of woolen clothes during winter and an increase in atmospheric temperature during summer. So these occur periodically, that is, whenever every winter comes, the sale increases for sweaters, jackets, etc. Or whenever a new academic year starts, there is an increase in the sale of notebooks and other stationery products. So this occurs periodically, and the period of seasonal variation would be within 1 year. So the third component of time series is cyclical variation or business cycle. So cyclical variation is an oscillatory variation which occurs in 4 stages, and those 4 stages are prosperity, recession, depression and recovery. So generally such variation occur in economic and business activities. So they occur in a gap of more than 1 year. So one cycle consisting of 4 stages occurs in a period of few years. So the period is not definite. Generally the period is 5 to 10 years. So here you can see the cycle. So the first there will be prosperity, and then recession, and then depression and then recovery. So one cycle which consists 4 stages, it can occur in a period of few years, and generally the period is for 5 to 10 years. And the example of cyclical variation are the oscillatory movement of BSE share index or Sensex is a cyclical variation, that is Bombay Stock Exchange as an example of cyclical variation. The upward and downward movement in the bank interest rates over last few years is a cyclical variation. So the last component is irregular variation or random fluctuation. So here in the name itself we understand that the variation is not regular. That is, sudden unexpected variations which can take place in a time series are called as irregular variations. They occur as a result of unexpected happenings such as wars, strikes, famines, floods, etc. So these are unpredictable, and generally the effect of such variation lasts for a short period of time. So example of irregular variation is an increase in the number of deaths due to earthquake, or a decrease in the number of passengers in the city bus occurring as a result of strike by a public sector employees. So here the variations are unexpected and they occur as a result of some unexpected happenings, and these are unpredictable. So now let us study the object of analysis of time series. So the objects of time series are understanding the past behavior of the variable, knowing the existing nature of the variation, predicting the future trend, and comparison with other similar variables. So in the next class, we will study some problems on time series analysis, that is by the method of moving averages. So that's it for today's class. Thank you.